I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Thursday, April the 28th, 2016. IDF soldiers came under attack overnight last night in the West Bank. The troops were escorting several hundred Jewish visitors to Joseph's tomb in Nablus when Palestinian residents began to throw rocks and burning tires at them. The troops responded with riot control measures to disperse the crowd. There were no injuries. Joseph's tomb is a holy site for Jews, Christians, and Muslims, and is often a hotspot for such confrontations. For that reason, Jewish worshippers are only allowed to visit the site once a month, and the IDF tries to conduct such visits in the late night hours so as to avoid such incidents. Israel's ambassador to the United Nations strongly criticized remarks made yesterday at a press conference in New York by Palestinian ambassador to the UN Riyad Mansour for comparing Israel to the Nazi regime. The Times of Israel reports that Mansour told the press that Israel's representative on the UN Security Council was portraying Palestinians who, quote, resist occupation in legitimate ways as terrorists. Mansour said, guess what? All colonizers, all occupiers, including those who suppressed the Warsaw Ghetto uprising, labeled those who resisted them as terrorists. Danon fired back, saying that any equalization between the Nazis and Israeli democracy is despicable and is worthy of denunciation from the international community. Iowa's Senate passed a measure against the BDS movement yesterday. A bill passed by a vote of 38-9 prevents state funds from being invested in companies that boycott Israel. Back in February, the bill was approved by the Iowa House of Representatives by a vote of 70-24. It now awaits the final approval of Iowa's Governor Terry Branstad, who will decide whether to sign it into law. Iowa joins several other states who have recently taken a similar stand against the boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement, which seeks to delegitimize the state of Israel, like Florida and Arizona. The New York Post reports that swastikas were found drawn in several locations in Brooklyn this week. The Post reported yesterday that the symbols were discovered and found drawn in white marker Monday morning on garbage can lids, a residential gate, a traffic control box, and the door of a building in an Orthodox Jewish community in the borough. A suspect was seen on surveillance video and police were investigating. And the Washington Post reports that swastikas were spray painted at a park and at an elementary school in Maryland. The symbols were found on Sunday. Montgomery County Police reportedly contacted the Jewish Community Relations Council of Greater Washington, as well as the Jewish Federation of Greater Washington, about the incident. Executive Director of the JCRC, Ron Halber, told the Washington Post that even though some people think it's just offensive graffiti, you must understand it really offends community members deeply. The Jewish Week reports that leading up to the Passover holiday, about 100 Jews and Muslims took part in a pre-Passover Seder at a mosque in New York City. According to News 4 New York, the event was coordinated by the NYC Muslim-Jewish Solidarity Committee and took place on April the 14th at the Islamic Society of Mid-Manhattan in New York. Michelle Koch of the NYC Solidarity Committee told News 4, there's so much hatred and prejudice going on in the world because people are afraid of each other and are ignorant of each other. So I think, she said, as committee, you bring people together, you teach people about each other. Also from the committee, Nabil Ezaruni said that it's not just about Jews and Muslims, it's about the whole society. He said we want to set a standard and we want to give an example to not just America, but to the whole world. And tonight, President Barack Obama and First Lady Michelle Obama will hold a Passover Seder dinner at the White House. The president was traveling abroad in Saudi Arabia, the United Kingdom, and Germany when the holiday began last Friday, so the Seder was postponed. Tonight, the Obamas will join with friends and staff in the now 9-year tradition of hosting the Passover meal at the White House, the last that the Obamas will celebrate there. And taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Thursday, April the 28th. At 8 o'clock, Dr. Arnold Eisen, who is Chancellor of the Jewish Theological Seminary, discusses the pioneering work of Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel and his influence on Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in a talk entitled The Politics of Prophecy. That's from JBS's coverage of Limud, New York, 2016. At 9, Mark Golub sits down with conservative Rabbi Robert Walkoff of Congregation B'nai Tikva of North Brunswick, New Jersey on L'chaim. At 10, it's more from the Limud Conference with Nathan Gutman, who is Washington Bureau Chief of the Jewish Forward. He analyzes the American Jewish vote. And a programming note for you for tomorrow morning, JBS will bring you live Yizkor services from Central Synagogue in New York City. That's tomorrow, Friday morning at 9:30. I'm Teisha Bader. I am off for a few days, but we'll be back with you with the news on Wednesday, May the 4th. Till then, Chag Sameach and an early Shabbat Shalom.